All right, rock and roll. Welcome to the Scorched Earth Political Podcast for Thursday, April 17th, 2025. Not even at 100 days. God bless you. I'm your host, John. This is where we take on the tough issues. We're the progressive site. And, we always intersperse a little humor, maybe, if we find some. And dealing with different political stories of the day. And friend and foe, sinner and saint, you're all welcome. Hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. Even leave a comment or two. Seems like I've had quite a few trolls the last couple of days. It's okay, though. It's okay. It's all fair game out here on the internet, right? I'm not going to get my feelings hurt like our boy Elon. We got a story about Elon towards the end of this show. We're talking about tariffs, and we've alluded to it on this show. Is Trump has said we're going to need to endure some pain and whatever. And I live in Southern California. I live in the mountains outside of Los Angeles, and we are literally blessed with some of the best weather in the world. Now, if you live somewhere else in the country and it's snowing or there's natural disasters or things, please don't come here. There's enough people. No. Everybody's welcome. But if you're liberal, take it to them. Take it to them wherever you're at. F them. F them all. And today it was cloudy. It was overcast. We really didn't have much of a winter. We only had a couple storms, maybe two. And in California, a storm is like 2 days of rain. That's considered like, hey, time to build an ark, right? And so the last couple of days have been really, really gloomy. Not really rain, but just overcast, Not enough to build the ark yet. But everywhere I go, everybody's complaining about the weather. Oh my God, when's the sun going to come back? And I'm thinking, man, we have 360 days of sun here every year, Geez, it's going to be back soon. And I'm thinking, how are people going to endure any economic pain? We're pissed off when it's under 65. We're angry when the internet buffers. When our movie gets delayed like 30 seconds. Yeah, right. We're going to really stand up to China, huh? Yeah, I wish I could bet on that one in Vegas, huh? Oh my gosh. So I was in a fast food establishment today, and everybody behind the counter was just looking out the window, and they were lamenting about just how terrible the weather is. And even one of them said they were going to leave, they're going to move. And I was like, wow, man, we are definitely a blessed country. We are. No matter what we think, no matter how desperate we think the situation is, we're a blessed people. And I was talking to my little brother today, and I don't know what happened. I guess I never had kids, and I did a mentorship type of thing with him, and I consider him my brother. And he was liberal for a long time, and in the last election he turned. He voted on the dark side. Let's just call it that, right? And we were talking today, and he moved to the Philippines, and he met this lovely lady, and they got married, had a kid. And he's come back to do some business ventures and whatever. And man, he's still doubling down. Oh, no, we were in a recession the last 3 years. I'm like, wow. The numbers don't seem to indicate that. It seems to be that we had the best economy in the world, and we were actually expanding the gap between us and the second and third nations, China and France. And I was like, well, what makes you think that? And he goes, and maybe this is part of where we have the disconnect from kids. Young adults, shouldn't say kids, is they say, well, nothing is affordable. And I said, well, what does that mean? And he says, I can't buy a house. And now he's 34. And I said, well, you do realize, like, I didn't buy a house till I was 40. Yeah. And then I know you're saying to yourself, wow, John, you're incredibly youthful for 41. But no. And I said, I understand everybody wants goals and things like that. I get it. But, if you want to live in Redondo Beach, you may have to wait a while. Like, in Southern California, if you want to move up to Victorville or Hesperia, you could probably buy a house right now. He goes, well, I don't want to live there. I said, well, okay. I didn't really want to live the first place I bought a house either, but I did because of the affordability issue. But maybe that's where disconnect is. I will say this. The millennials, the Gen Xers, whatever you call them, I applaud them. I think they are incredibly hardworking. I think, we sit here and when I came into the workforce, we were taught, find a company, be loyal to it, and they'll take care of you. And then they take care of you until they don't, till they get rid of you, and then you become yesterday's newspaper, right? And one thing I really admire, and I've known a lot of millennials, Gen Xers, whatever, is they are very portable. They are very transferable. And if they have a job, like literally they have a DoorDash, they have an Uber, they work part-time at XYZ, and whatever, they're incredibly resilient. Like if they lose a job, there's no tears. There's no devastation out in the parking lot. There's no drink from the jug. They're like, okay, I'll just get another job tomorrow. Like, wow, oh, geez. I remember the first time I got fired. Oh my God, it was a come to Jesus moment. I was like, I'm not even religious. I was like, wow, my whole world just got destroyed. These kids are like, no big deal. I'm going to go club tonight and then I'll find a job tomorrow. I'm like, oh my God, wow. Kumbaya. Kumbaya. All right, let's get to some stuff. Let's burn this mother effer down, okay? Let's see what we got going on in the world. Donald Trump is at last look, still president. Got another 3+ years to go. Can't go quick enough. And I was thinking today about what happens if something physically happens, and I don't wish any ill will on anybody. I'm not saying that. But I was thinking, we're going to get that bigger idiot, J.D. Vance. And I literally, in the clown show that is the Trump administration, I wonder who is the chief clown? Who is Bozo? Who's got the big red nose? And, J.D. Vance, he took on, childless cat ladies. He told Greenland he was going to take them over. He said last week that, we're borrowing money from Chinese peasants to buy products that are made by Chinese peasants. Real nice going into negotiation, giving them some bulletin board material there, guy. Sometimes I sit there and think, this guy is just an effing idiot. Everything he said in Hillbilly Effigy that he despised, he's become. But I guess sometimes that's what happens with power, right? The power structure. At the end of the day, I think the Democrats, I think the liberals are much more acquiescent to the needs of the average common folk, but make no mistake, they still love their power too. And as we talk about Trump gaining more and more power, here's the mistake I think we're all making is if you effing think that the next person in, let's say it's a Democrat, it's Whitmer, it's Newsom, it's Moore, it's Booker, whoever it is. Do you think they're going to give back power? If you do, you really should check yourself into a mental asylum. Because there is no way the power structure is going to give up power. We have to fight and claw for everything. And we're seeing Congress, which is controlled by the Republicans. We're seeing the Senate, controlled by the Republicans, give away their constitutional power of the dollar, of the budget. They should be in there screaming at Trump, telling him, you can't defund these programs that we already funded at the beginning of the fiscal year last September. They're giving away that power. It's like I said, 3 years I'm running for president. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shot over the bow. Boom. I'm going to say, hey, I'm defunding the military. See how the fuck they freak out then. I mean, really. You know, they get cute with the USAID and the CDC and the Department of Energy and the Education Department. Explain to me this. You know, they're cutting all the money at the Education Department. They say they're saving all these billions of dollars. They're going to send it back to the states. But they're not sending the money back to the states. They're just sending all the programs without the money. So one of two things is happening, and they're wrong on either case. Either they're not saving the money because they're going to ship it back to the states, or they are saving the money, and now education is going to suffer because the states don't have that money. And then, as we know, in the South, let's go to the South, which is always just takes the bottom third of all the educational statistics. Arkansas, 50th every year. Who's the worst educational system in the country? Well, it's Mississippi or Arkansas, John. Yeah, you're right. Ding, ding, ding. Now they don't even have minimum standards. Sure, explain to anybody how that's going to increase education. I didn't even want to get on education. That's why you're here. Because I'm like a river. I just flow everywhere we are. All right, we're off and running, taking no prisoners, telling no lies. All right, let's talk about a real good American here. U.S. District Judge James Bocher ruled Wednesday that probable cause exists to hold Trump administration officials in criminal contempt for violating his orders on the mid-March habeas corpus that he issued, halting the administration's use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport, quote unquote, all these criminals who are Venezuelan to El Salvador, San Salvador, to the mega prison. Okay? His process, his ruling was they had no due process. In this country, whether you're friend or foe, sinner or saint, you get accused of a crime, you have your day to be adjudicated, to go through a process. If they pick you up for a crime, if a cop sees you having a crime, committing a crime, you don't go immediately to jail. You do go to jail, but the process begins. You don't start serving 30 years at Leavenworth, right? No. There's a trial, there's lawyers, we go to a jury, we find out what happened. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. But we believe in the rule of law. These people were deported without any due process, without any judge, without any jury, without any independent arbiter to decide if the charges brought against them were real. Now, we all know that. We understand about Kilmer Garcia over there in Maryland, how unjustly he was deported, right? But here's where I'm getting kind of intrigued here, okay? From Judge Bocher's is, why don't we just really ramp it up? Let's go. You know, they're trying to burn it all down, okay? Let's just go back. And you know what? Let's put some of these son of a bitches from the Trump administration in jail. Let's go. Trump wants to pardon 1,600 criminally convicted rioters from January 6th. I say, let's put those son of a bitches in jail. Let's go. Now, Judge Bocher's is trying to walk a delicate line. You know what? It's going to the Supreme Court. Let's just get the goddamn thing there now. Let's go. Let's get it in front of the Supreme Court. Let's get the justices on record whether due process matters in this country. Now, if you ask me, all the son of a bitches should go to jail. Okay, that's fine. But you know who should go first? Is Kristi Noem for her little cosplay photo shoot there in San Salvador. And it's not because she's a dog killer. It's not because she doesn't have a heart. It's not because she denied due process to all these people, because her outfits were so goddamn hideous. She should go to Alcatraz for just that. Leavenworth, the maximum security prison in Colorado, the Supermax, whatever. I don't want to see her face again. her little Barbie cosplay outfits. And then, of course, she's in the prison. Kilmar Garcia is in the background. And they say they have no way to get him back. Hey, why don't you just carry one of her bags? Why don't you carry her second or third outfit, the camouflage one? The camouflage one that she wears where she acts like she's a goddamn human. Yeah, let me tell you something. There ain't nobody in Hollywood, no makeup artist who can make that woman into a human. Just saying. Just saying. I told you. You come here, you're going to find it out. You're not going to hear what you hear on these other podcasts. Oh, I don't want to offend anybody. I really don't care. Like I said the other day, somebody was like, aren't you afraid you're going to get on somebody's radar? I'm praying for that day. I'm praying for it. Let's get into the ring. Let's go. Blood from a turnip, man. I don't care. I'm fighting for democracy. You're listening because you believe in democracy. F them all. F them all. And I would use the real word, but I'm trying to be a good boy. Even though it's past 10 minutes, I have the best producer in the world. Her talent far exceeds my ability. And I try and give her 10 minutes without using the F word. Man, let me tell you something. It's days like this that it's hard not to go back to the gin and whiskey. Hey, I'm telling you, rehab's cool. All right. So there we go. We got that. Let's talk about the United States stock market dropping again. Oh, God, it's just getting so much better. Like I say, Trump is like the economic version of the guy with the suicide vest, and he just decides he's going to start pulling all those little triggers and all those little rings. All right? But it seems like Jerome Powell, one of the last adults in the federal government, he's the head of the Federal Reserve, he's warned that Trump's tariffs are a little more exceeding than he thought they were going to be, and that they could cause high uncertainty in the markets. That's the warning shot. That's what the banker tells you right before he says he's foreclosing. John, I think it's highly uncertain you're going to be able to keep your abode. Yeah. What does that mean? We're kicking you out tomorrow. Here's what some of that highly uncertain means. Dow was down 700 points on Wednesday, 1.73%. S&P, which is the 500 biggest companies on the New York Stock Exchange, was down 2.24%. NASDAQ, the tech stock market, down over 3%. One day. Now, I got one of my best friends, Brother Bill, and he says it comes back. He's right. I give him that. It does eventually. But what about all the people who want to retire? What about their money in their 401ks? What about people who need their money and looking? And I talked to somebody the other day, and they were hoping to retire at the end of the year, and they were saying, I don't know if I can now. I don't know what that means. And we are just literally one tweet away from another huge drop in the stock market. I don't know what the tweet's going to say. I don't think he knows what it's going to say. Don the Con. I have no clue what that is going to be. But I'll tell you what, we're all goddamn scared of it. I mean, we're really scared of what this guy could do because he does literally affect, it ripples across America. When they say, well, President, he really doesn't have that much control. They obviously didn't see Trump on Twitter or Facebook or Truth Social because that guy is like Godzilla going through Tokyo, right? So I talked to my mechanic today, and I know I lose a lot of street cred with my friends because they say, John, just do it yourself. I'm like, no, man, I like my mechanic. And him and I are on opposite sides of the political spectrum, right? And I was saying, I'm trying to keep the politics out because, like I've said before, I have a lot of Republican friends, and I would do anything for them. They have been great friends. We don't agree on the politics, whatever. I got to somehow disassociate myself from that. But they're just good people. They are just really, really good people. And most of my friends are Republican. And my mechanic is, and, him and I agree to disagree, right? So if I disagree too much, my bill doubles. So, there's always that in the back of your pocket, right? And so oh, darn it. And so we're talking. I said, man, what's that going to do? What's that going to do to your parts and stuff like this, these tariffs? And he goes, look, every part I got comes from China. He goes, we don't have anything here. And I said, wow. And he goes, I don't know. He goes, I don't know what it's going to do to my business. And I didn't really dig down on it. I didn't need to. I heard in the tone of his voice, he's worried. And this is a Trump supporter, right? And, maybe, I understand the goal is laudable about making things back in America, but that cake has already been baked. That frosting's on the cake. We already got candles on them, and they're blowing. And now all of a sudden you say, I don't like, I instead of chocolate, I want vanilla inside the cake. It's a little late, man. Are we going to handle that? Are we going to be able to tough it out? Yeah, I don't think so. Like I told you, we're in LA, and man, 65, man, that's the end of the world. People are running to stores to buy that thing they call a coat, jacket. Look at how nappy I look. Look at me. I got the nice shirt. I know you're saying, John, you looks like you just came from the runways of Milan or Paris. Well, I didn't, but I am fashion conscious, I actually cleaned this. Well, look at that. Look at me. Yeah, I know. Don't be impressed. Don't be envious. I seriously doubt anybody in this world is envious of me. All right. We're going to talk about our erstwhile Don the Con. And I think this is fantastic. I did a couple shorts on it. He posted on True Social. Now, here's what he said. The U.S. is taking in record numbers in tariffs, with the cost of almost all products going down, including gas, groceries, and just about everything else. Likewise, inflation is down. Promises made, promises kept. Now, I see on a lot of the liberal sites, they are freaking the F out about this. Oh, this is all lies and whatever. Yeah, you're right. It is. Kudos. The gas has went up 30 cents in the last 2 weeks here in Los Angeles. Okay, whatever. But I'm looking at the bigger picture. Let's forget that he is lying. Okay, let's forget. You know what this is? This is salvation. This is Christmas coming April. What are you saying, John? What are you talking about? Because now he's owning the economy. He's saying it's all his. We all know what the numbers are going to be. The numbers aren't going to be good. And I'm not happy about it. I really do. I don't like Donald Trump. I hate that son of a bitch. But I'm telling you right now, I do not want to see good people suffer. I want to, in 4 years, go, I was wrong about the guy. I was wrong. I pray for that day that I go, yeah, I was wrong. I hate saying I told you so, and I don't even do that. But I know I'm right. I know what I'm saying, what I believe is right. He's now owning the economy. He can't blame Joe, Sleepy Joe, whatever Joe. It's not Joe anymore. Now it's you, buddy. Good luck. Good luck. Wait till those economic... And I will tell you this. Let me give you a little... Let's get the crystal ball out. Let's get the crystal ball out. The economic numbers for the second quarter aren't going to be that bad. Everybody thinks they're going to be terrible. But I saw Jamie Dimon... I saw some traders from Wall Street, and they were basically alluding to the fact that Wall Street numbers are going to be good. Now, wait for this, because they have so much activity because so many people are selling their portfolios. I know I did. I liquidated my entire portfolio 2 days before Liberation Day. I'm telling you, it is going to be the best financial move I ever made. I'm telling you right now. And I'm not telling anybody else to do whatever. Do whatever you think, whatever your financial analyst tells you. But at the end of the day, we're all scared. We're all scared. And I am not a financial professional, and I don't claim to be one. And literally, you would be better off doing the exact opposite, whatever I do. But I'm just telling you, I'm not buying the Jim Cramer stuff, and I'm not buying all those guys who are trying to protect the big mutual funds. You got money, hold on to it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I hope you make a boatload of money. I hope you make a boatload of money. All right, our final story of the day. We're going a little long, but you know what? I appreciate your patience if anybody is actually still listening. I love you. Love you. All the way from Milan. Yeah, fashion icon Jay. Here we go. Seems we got Elon Musk the creeper. Who would have thought that? Anybody who made that abortion that's called a Cybertruck, tell me that guy ain't got a screw loose. Yeah, right? So, as far as we know, let's get updated on his marital and family status. He has 14 kids that we know of with 4 different baby mamas. This is a representative of the Family Values Party. Go out and have plenty of kids. Oh, wait. The leader of that party has been married 3 times. Multiple kids, multiple women. And as an aside, the last 2 marriages, the first 2, he cheated on his then wife with somebody else and then married him. Yep. It's a story as old as time itself, right? Thank God. And God saved him for greater purposes. Yep, here we go. So, Elon, having all these kids, I guess he's going to give Abraham a run for his money. And his latest baby was born by a social influencer, right-winger, Ashley St. Clark. And she is currently suing him for child support because $300 billion really doesn't give you any leeway or some free cash to support your own goddamn kid, right? She claims she had to sell her Tesla to be able to feed the kid. Now, maybe it's a stunt, maybe it isn't. But as far as I'm concerned, that whole side is a circus show. So give me a seat. I'm right here. Let's talk about it and see what's going on. The Wall Street Journal, which isn't exactly a bastion of liberal press, says that Elon Musk, for the last couple of years, has made a history of sending unsolicited DMs to women in right-wing social circles, in social media, and propositioning them, okay? Asking them, point blank, if they want to have his child. Wow. That happened. Case in point, according to the Wall Street Journal, Musk asked pro-Trump crypto influencer, geez, I mean, really, when you use that phrase 3 times real quick, all you want to think of, she should be incarcerated in Arkham Asylum. She should be next to the Penguin, Batman, and the Joker. Just that label. Tiffany Fong on X, he asked her, Tiffany Fong on X, if she was interested in having his child. When she rebuffed him, seems like Elon didn't take it too well. Seems like they never met. He just did this through the internet, through his little web of social X. Fong shut him down and then saw her views, earnings, and engagement, which I have no bloody clue what that means, on X drop tremendously. Also on other social outlets. Now, Musk has a fixer. This is this gentleman named Jared Birchall, to handle negotiations with women who have the kids of Elon Musk. I mean, you get stuff in the mail from Amazon. I mean, what are these women getting? A turkey baster and a semen sample from Elon? I mean, wow. I never understood how lucky Amber Heard was until I read this Wall Street Journal. Amber Heard, the movie star, had some issues with Johnny Depp. I don't really know. Whatever it was. I don't know enough about it, and personally, I don't care. But man, she got away from Elon Musk, and she didn't have his kid. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Well, this great creature who negotiates with the women makes them sign NDAs. And he told the Wall Street Journal about the NDAs that he cannot allow people to just go and share information about Musk and his life information, and that's why the NDAs are necessary. He's having a kid with the woman, but she doesn't have the right to talk about his life. Wow. All right. that is happening. There's the shadow president. You know, really, you want to be the shadow president, it looks like he's trying to start his own country. You know, just buy some land over wherever, Antarctica. Start your own country. Obviously, you got the kids. Hey, kumbaya, man. Kumbaya. All right, that's it for today. Took our shots. Hopefully they landed, but you know what? We'll be back tomorrow. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody listening. I love you all. We're in this together and we're going to win. When the bastards start to get us down, just remember we're on the side of right. We're on the side of morality, and we are going to win because we're fighting for the true cause of democracy and love. All right. Thank you all, and I'll see you soon.